Good evening. My name is Steve Knutson with Fairfax County's Department of Transportation, and I want to welcome you to this meeting to discuss the traffic calming plan for Windermere Hill Drive. And we can start with introductions. And tonight from FCDOT, we have Ryan O'Carroll, Grace Vaughn, and Nicole Machakwa. And from the Mount Vernon District Supervisor's Office, we have Diego Rodriguez Cabrera. Grace has a short presentation to go through, and after the presentation, we will open the meeting up to community questions and comments. And if there are any of the community's task force members logged on to tonight's meeting, they can introduce themselves during the Q&A. Diego, is there anything you would like to say before we start?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Just thank you everyone for being in attendance tonight. As we know, this is a community initiated and run process, and here we are overseeing it. So just thank you everyone for the valuable comments you'll be providing today.
And right now, we do only have 2 people logged on. We can give it just a few more minutes before we start, if that's okay. We can wait until 10 past the hour. Diego, do you think that might be worth the extra 4 minutes to wait to see if anybody else logs on?
Yeah, we can go ahead and hold off.
Okay, we'll hold off for a couple of more minutes and then we'll go ahead and run through the presentation. If people that weren't able to log on request, we'll be able to send a PDF of the slides that we're going to show tonight. And then at some point, we will also have access to the video of tonight's meeting. All right, Grace, if you want to go ahead, we can start with the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting, and thank you all for joining us. Tonight, we're going to discuss the traffic calming program for Windermere Hill Drive. Please note that this session is being recorded and may be shared on social media. Please hold all your questions until the end of the presentation. Instructions for how to ask your questions will be provided at the end of the presentation. So today we are here to explain the traffic calming process, provide an opportunity for community feedback, and answer any questions anyone may have. So we can begin with what is traffic calming. So traffic calming is the installation of physical devices to reduce vehicle speed. These devices can either be vertical or horizontal. Vertical devices are driven over, such as the speed hump shown in the upper left-hand corner, and horizontal devices can be driven around, such as the raised median island shown in the upper right-hand corner. Both types of devices make the roadway safer for drivers and pedestrians. We want you to know that through this process, we are not permitted to install stop signs. Here we have charts and images showing the effects of decreased speed. As speed decreases, visual acuity, field of vision, and depth perception increase. Also, with the reduced speed, we can see a decrease in stopping distance and crash risk. Here's a map showing traffic calming projects throughout Fairfax County. There are over 266 projects resulting in more than 600 devices countywide. Every district has devices, and the chances that you have driven over one is pretty high. FCDOT and the district supervisor's office will collaborate with citizens on all community-initiated projects. The program can be broken up into 5 steps. Step 1 is project initiation. Step 2 is plan development. Step 3 is community engagement. Step 4, ballot phase, and the final step, step 5, is project installation. All traffic calming projects are community initiated. The process begins with a The process begins with requests from the community to the supervisor's office. Once the request is received, FCDOT will complete a basic eligibility review. If eligible, FCDOT will then conduct a traffic study. And if the eligibility and traffic study requirements are met, the community will then form a task force. To meet the basic eligibility requirements, the roadway must be VDOT maintained, have a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit, be functionally classified as local, collector, or arterial, and if it is collector or arterial, it needs to be a residential street. As for the traffic study, for the volume criteria, we need between 500 to 6,000 vehicles in 24 hours, both directions combined. For Windermere Hill Drive, the volume was 2,111 vehicles, which meets the requirement. For speed criteria, the recorded 85th percentile speed needs to be greater than or equal to 35 miles per hour. This means that 15% of vehicles need to be traveling at 35 miles per hour or faster in at least one direction of travel. The 85th percentile speed in the northbound lane was 38 miles per hour, and in the southbound lane was 34 miles per hour, which means that Windermere Hill Drive met the speed criteria as well. The next step is plan development. FCDOT will conduct a site visit in the field in order to develop a draft plan. Once the draft plan has been developed, FCDOT will meet with the task force to obtain feedback and amend the plan if necessary. Once the task force is satisfied with the draft plan, property owners directly adjacent to any proposed measure will need to sign off on the placement of the devices in order to move on. There are device placement requirements for vertical devices. Devices must be a minimum of 300 feet between measures and from existing stop conditions, a minimum of 150 feet from intersections, a minimum 150 feet for continuous sight distance, and it has to fit on the existing roadway. So we have to take into account any driveways, manholes, utilities, and the grade of the road. So based on the available options and the site visit, FCDOT is able to propose 2 speed humps and 1 speed table on Windermere Hill Drive. The addresses that are listed are the ones who signed off on the APFs because the devices are directly adjacent to their property. Here we have the speed hump schematic. The speed hump is 12 feet long and is 3 inches high at the center. There will be a white chevron in each travel lane and speed hump signs with a recommended speed of 15 miles per hour on each side of the speed hump. And And here is the speed table schematic. The speed table is 22 feet long and is 3 inches high at the center. It also includes the white chevrons in each travel lane and the speed hump signs with a recommended speed of 15 miles per hour on each side of the speed table. Step 3 is the community meeting, which is where we are today. This is where FCDOT presents the plan to the community to obtain feedback. And based on the feedback, the task force will decide whether to amend the plan or proceed to the next phase. If the task force decides to move forward, we'll then move to the ballot phase. Each household in the ballot area will receive 1 vote and send it directly to the district supervisor's office. The ballot period will be open for a minimum of 3 weeks. The supervisor's office will tally the votes and notify the task force of the results. Here we have an example ballot. The proposed devices will be listed on the ballot and the community will be voting for the entire plan. The task force is responsible for distributing the ballot packages to everyone in the ballot area. There are 3 ways to return your ballot by the deadline. You can mail in your ballot directly to the supervisor's office. You can hand deliver it directly to the supervisor's office, or you can email it directly to the supervisor's office. Ballots should not be returned to the task force. Please use one of the methods listed above. And here is the ballot area map for Windermere Hill Drive. So there are 275 ballots. And in order for the proposed plan to move forward, we'll need greater than 50% of all households to vote in favor. So we will need 138 yes votes. And if the required number of yes votes are met, we move forward to step 5, which is the project installation. The traffic calming plan will be presented to the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors for endorsement, and the resolution will be sent to VDOT. Once endorsed and VDOT accepts the resolution, FCDOT will work with the Department of Public Works and Environmental Services to schedule installation. And finally, the traffic measures will be installed. After tonight's meeting, the task force will need to follow these next steps. The task force determines and notifies Fairfax County if they would like to move forward with the presented plan. The task force and supervisor's office will decide and notify FCDOT if ballots in the ballot area should be distributed to the homeowners or to the occupants. The task force will receive the ballot cover letter and will complete the form as directed by FCDOT. The task force sends the completed ballot cover letter to FCDOT for approval, and once approved, they will receive the verified ballot package. And the final step is the task force will need to print and distribute the ballots to all homes in the ballot area. This concludes the presentation, and we can now move on to the Q&A portion. So you have 2 options for how you can ask your questions. You can chat or speak. So once the chat item is activated on Teams, you can use it by typing your question. If you want to speak, please click the raise your hand icon, and once it's your turn, the host will call on you and send you a request to unmute your mic. After you unmute yourself, you will be able to ask your question. If you're on the phone, please push *5 to raise your hand. And when it's your turn, the host sends you a request to unmute. You need to push *6 to unmute and ask your question. And after you're finished, please push *5 to unraise your hand. In order for you to be unmuted, pop-up blockers must be allowed on your computer. If you have difficulty unmuting, we will try you twice. And if we still aren't able to hear each other, we recommend that you write your question in chat.
Okay, great. Thanks, Grace. So looks like we have Randy, you have your hand raised. I'll go ahead and send you an unmute or allow a mic request. So it's sent your way. All right, so we'll give it a couple more seconds and then we'll go ahead, and I see Randy's typing in right now. Okay, Randy says that he is trying to unmute and that he's in a clubhouse with 8 people right now. So we'll try to do something on our end. I can resend it to you. Hold on 1 second. If you are having issues, there is some other way that I can try. So I went ahead and sent you a notice to unmute your mic. Okay, Randy, I think that you should be able to unmute yourself right now if you want to give it a try.
Got it.
Just go. There we go. Got it working.
So that, we have a group microphone, so several people can ask questions on this.
Yeah, so the first question we got, Jeremy Duncan here. We did have a question about the ballots. We're sending you the addresses and you are providing the ballots via mail to the residents. Is that how that's working?
No, we will generate the addresses and then we will send you a template for the ballot and the cover letter. If you make any edits to the ballot and the cover letter, we'll need to review the edits before they're sent out. But the task force will be the group that's responsible for producing the ballot packets and distributing the ballot packets.
Got it. So we are sending you the addresses and then you're putting the addresses in
On the ballots.
the ballots and stuff, and then we're printing them out and sending them out. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, do you want to try and answer, Nicole? I think I did not do a good job,
So,
but
no, you're fine. So what we'll do is we provide the address list to you guys to then distribute the ballots. So we will not be distributing the ballots on our end, and we will not be putting the addresses on the ballots themselves. We will provide out of the ballot area all those shaded parcels in orange. We'll provide you all those addresses. And so then you guys can choose on how you want to distribute the ballots. But that way you'll have an address list on whether you want to send it by mail or if you want to hand deliver it. That is on the task force to decide.
We got it. So we'll stand by for your ballot package.
Okay.
So there's some houses that's not in the HOA.
No, there's not.
Yes, on their map that they showed for the ballot area, and one on Fifth Avenue.
Nope.
Yes, they were on their shaded area.
I don't think so.
Well, that's.
I mean, they should have a right to say it on the street itself.
Take a look at your map.
Yes, the house is right past Cleveland, well.
Between there and Dixon, those homes there. You need to clarify with them, they are part of the.
So this is the only part that they have locked off.
Yes, they're not there.
Yeah, so
You said the shaded area, they're thinking. These homes.
Oh,
are
that's true.
here.
Well, let's clarify that, and we have the opportunity here so that they understand and we understand what their overall perspective is. Their perspective that they've been dealing with Jeremy and his team all along with no participation from those on Fifth Avenue. They've got to understand that. But if, from the community action perspective, they're including them because it will affect them, because that's how they traverse back and forth to the community, then you gotta know that. They've got to know that they're not part of our.
okay, so they're not part of our HOA community.
they are
but
not.
This specific.
So the ballot area is not chosen based off of HOA. The ballot area is based off of the road within the study. So if you guys are questioning whether it's based off of HOA, it is not. We do it off the base of the design of the road and the road that we're studying. So that's why you might see some houses that are in one HOA and some houses that are not in another HOA. So that might be why you guys might have that kind of question. The houses that you see on the map on the screen right now, those are the houses that are in the ballot area that will need to receive a ballot.
Where, what's his name lives?
Oh,
Shirley Acres, right? Okay. Yeah, that is the question. So the majority of the homes, with the exception of maybe five, maybe 7 homes on Fifth Avenue are Shirley Acres, a community known as Shirley Acres. There's been no pre-notification of not an HOA, but they do have a representative. There's been no pre-notification of that individual. So this is kind of,
looks like there's 12 houses.
kind of weird. Okay, so we're expected to send them a ballot also, though they don't belong to our HOA.
Correct.
Okay.
Should we, is that something that, I guess we would take it offline, but communicating with them, do we have a contact over there?
If you have any form of contact, I would recommend that you reach out to them and maybe share the slide deck that we have sent to the Mount Vernon office.
Yeah, we have a point of contact. We'll get that information to them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think, it's in your best interest to go ahead and share whatever information you have with the folks that live down there.
We can
And
handle
like
that.
we said, we can provide a mailing if you guys are concerned on how to get the ballots there. If you are planning on mailing them out, we will provide those addresses. So it's also up to the task force and the district supervisor's office, like we said in the next steps, or Grace said in the next steps. You guys will determine whether the ballots should go to the occupants or the homeowners. So it will have to be either or, but you'll notify us who you guys decided that the ballots should go to, and then we'll provide that mailing address list.
Okay. Doesn't.
So that they're gonna provide the addresses.
Yeah.
You're able to mail it to.
Good, I thought at one point in time we talked, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to talk offline. I thought at one point in time, the message was is that all of it would go to the resident.
We get the option.
The owner. So are we comfortable that we've got all the forwarding addresses here?
We decided it'd be easier to do it with the occupants because the occupants actually.
Oh, okay. Hoping that they'll forward it to the owner, right?
No.
Oh, doing the rest. Yeah. That's okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
And
Right,
I would
so-
like to make mention that on our end, since you guys are in a room together, whoever is asking the question or trying to get information from us, could you just speak a little bit closer to the mic? We are kind of getting like a reverb, and so it's kind of breaking up, so we're not able to hear you clearly.
Understood. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Right.
I just wanted to let you know on our end what we're hearing.
Yeah, I mean, so I think what we were hearing is there's a question about who would receive the ballot. And basically that choice is up to the task force and the supervisor's office, and they choose that they want to just mail it to the given address, the street address, or if they want to mail it to the property owner if the property owner does not reside at the given address. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah. I think the confusion was that the official map that came from FCDOT did not include anything anything south of where the measures didn't go all the way down to, Dixon Street. So that was, I guess, the confusion from our side.
Oh, the original device map
Yeah, the one
that
that's
showed the device
actually,
locations. Yeah.
yeah, the one that's August 2024, the one that
Mhm.
that actually has, didn't go that far south. That's why the confusion was on our side.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're sorry. We generally will zoom into the locations where the devices are located for that map and the information we're trying to convey with that map. So sometimes we don't always show the whole ballot area when we're trying to show those device locations.
Yeah, not a problem. We'll make do. We're good.
And we also have, this ballot map available if you would like it. I'm sure we can send it over to Diego.
Yeah.
We don't. Yeah, Diego, if you could send it over to me, that'd be cool.
Will do.
And it will be included in the slide deck, but we can send it as a separate PDF too.
So this is Clint Herbert. I'm the president of the HOA. My question is about the ballots in the count. You said your threshold was 50% or above for approval? Or
Yes. So it's
It's
greater
greater.
than 50% of the issued ballots.
Exactly 138. So we have to get 138 yes.
Right. Good.
Of all the ballots, we have to get 138 yes.
767. Okay, super. Thank you.
Mhm.
Anything else? Anybody?
I think this is Randy. You put on there, the ballots have to be received back to you in 3 weeks. And is that from the time that, because I still have to have time to go out and identify the additional 12 homes, get the ballots printed and get them out to people. So when does that time actually start?
It's going to start when you start the distribution. So you're basically looking forward when you're putting together the ballot packet, and you're going to pick a date where you're going to start to distribute the ballots, and then your end of ballot period or process will be 3 weeks from that date of distribution. Okay, but if you do feel like you want more time, that's fine. We can go to 4 weeks or we can go to 5 weeks. We just need a date indicated on the ballot itself in the cover letter.
So in that timeframe, can we ask questions like how many ballots have you received yeses on? So that we know at least what our accounts are in real time, or not basically real time, you know what I mean, but like frequently.
So, I mean, each supervisor's office does it slightly differently. Some will hold all the ballots until the date is, arrived when it's supposed to be, the ballot process is supposed to end before they open and count them. So we can definitely give you information regarding how many ballots have come in, but we're generally not going to give information on what address they came from.
I guess I was just trying to avoid a situation where you get 200 ballots and it's the end, and then you look at it and we don't meet the 138 threshold. There's a way in which you can count them before that end time would be nice. Is that possible? Or do you actually require to count them on that date?
I mean, I would not want to, promise that we're going to be able to give that information to you through this process. Like I said, we can give how many have come in, and you can kind of, extrapolate from the overall received ballots, how many you might think would be yeses and nos. But generally, we don't give out like the address that it came from or how they voted until the overall process.
We're not going to go egg somebody's house for saying no. What we're trying to find is like how many yeses have come in so that we know, hey, maybe we need to send an email reminder out 2 days prior to that end date so that we don't end up in a situation where we think we got the numbers, but we don't know. You know what I mean?
Understood.
Steve, I would recommend sending that email regardless to the amount of numbers
Correct.
that you do get in, just to get that extra push to remind people that, to send in their ballots or hand deliver or email their ballots. I would definitely send that email regardless.
Okay.
So, Clint Herbert again, so that begs the question, if and HOAs are notoriously for members for not voting. So that begs the question, if we only get, at the end of those 3 weeks, let's say 150 to 275, and only, and let's say 50% plus of that 150 votes yes, is that a legitimate vote, or do we have to start the process all over again? I didn't, huh?
No, we have to get 138.
Yeah, we have to get 138.
The 138's a hard number.
That's a hard number.
That's a hard number, yes.
And they're like, okay. All right.
And generally,
thank you.
there's gonna be a 2-year wait period to come back into the program after the ballot process ends, to do any modification or to re-enter the road into the program.
Understand. Yeah, okay.
And like I said, if you feel that, 3 weeks might be too short of a time frame, we can push it out to 4, or we can push it out to 5 weeks. We are coming towards the Christmas season. We might want to wait and hold off on issuing the ballots until January. So, people are a little more not distracted by the holidays.
Yeah, we'll discuss that, but this task force has been busy at this for quite some time and have been the most amazingly successful task force we've had here at the HOA. And I mean, getting this to where it's at. I'd hate to have them standing around and waiting for another 90 to 120 days, waiting for the results of their hard work. So I think we'll pass on that. And we'll just push forward. Door knocking, if it looks like it's getting short stuff, we'll just do some door knocking.
Okay.
We know the money collector around. Okay.
All right. So I think we're pretty much aware of our next steps. As Grace had referenced earlier, you all probably will want to meet again, decide if you want to go to the ballot process. And if you do, then just reach out to Diego and have a discussion about if you want to send the ballot to the homeowners, the property owners, or if you want to send it to the occupant. And then if you make that decision to go forward, you let him know, you make that decision about property owner or occupant. Diego will let us know. We'll send the templates to you, and then we'll move forward from there.
Okay. I think Brian was also on the line. Did you have anything, Brian?
Good evening. No, thank you. I have nothing. Thank you. But you know what? I apologize. There was recently a speed, one of those speed monitors at the top of the hill, Workington and Windermere Hill intersect. I don't know if you mentioned it earlier, but I was wondering what the results of that finding were. Looked like there was a survey there to see what was coming from the opposite end of the HOA down towards our section.
Was it a speed trailer? Like the ones they park on the side of the road, or was it one that they attach to an existing sign?
It was a trailer.
Okay. So the police would have that information. We were unaware that it was out there. So we don't have any information regarding the data they collected.
Yes, it wasn't.
I think that it's just for keeping people, I requested just to try to remind people to keep speed down. I don't think that was an inventory. I don't think they're charging.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have that information. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and if you're interested in that information, I can go ahead and request that from the police.
That would be great. I think that, I don't know if everyone else is aware that's on the panel, but that was an area we'd asked about if anything could be done. I think the limitations was it's within the 150 feet to the first intersection north of it. So I appreciate it if you could find that information out, Ms. Rodriguez. Thank you.
Of course.
And Grace, if you want to put up the screen that has the contact information. So if folks do have questions after tonight's meeting, they can email dotinfo@fairfaxcounty.gov and put Windermere Hill Drive traffic calming in the subject line, and that email will get to us and we'll respond. You can also call 703-877-5600 and ask to talk to somebody about the Windermere Hill Drive traffic calming project. And it looks like Diego just put his email address in the chat. So that is available for anybody that would like to reach out to the Mount Vernon office, or they can also email mountvernon.office@fairfaxcounty.gov with the subject line Windermere Hill Drive again, or call 703-704-52. Uh-oh, put my glasses on for this. 5203, and asked to talk about the Windermere Hill Drive traffic calming project. I believe that's about everything that we have for you tonight. So if there are not any more final questions, we'll probably go ahead and wrap this up. A copy, I believe, of tonight's presentation will be sent by email to everybody's email address that was logged on to tonight's meeting. So you will have all this information available to you if you did log on and enter in your email address.
And for the community members that are interested in the recording, we have to work outside to try to get the recording available outside of Teams or the people that have registered for tonight's meeting. So we will work. So I'm hoping within a week or two, we'll have that recording available to make it so the community can see this meeting as well.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for attending tonight. And again, if you do have further questions, just reach out to our office or the Mount Vernon office, and we will try to get back and respond to your questions as quickly as we can. And thank you again, and have a pleasant evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.